Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space. I'm going to do an art journal page today. Just going to start with the first step, then I have to put aside for a while. For you, it'll be like 2 seconds. For me, it'll be like a couple of hours. I'm not usually a patient person when it comes to art journaling. So I'm working in my altered book. This book is getting very, very chunky and very big and nearly full. So this page was a demonstration at one of my craft shows. So this is gesso and Lindy stamping powders in the background. So you basically sprinkle your powders on, they're water reactive, and then you put a big blob of gesso down here and then you scrape it across and it activates the powders and you get this really cool look. I picked this page because I want nothing on this page. And as your journal gets full, there's not many pages with nothing on the back. So what I'm going to try is actually an image transfer. First time I've done it, don't know whether it's going to work. If it doesn't work, you won't see it. Haha. So I don't even know whether this is going to work over this surface. I saw this on a Facebook and I thought, let's give it a try. So I've got a magazine image here and I've got these windows. So I thought that would be rather cool. So the lady used Liquitex Matte Gel Medium. Just had to go find a new jar. I hadn't had one open. I've been trying to use up my other stuff, but good opportunity to open a jar. So just going to put a thin layer down. Now this is my preferred medium to stick stuff in my art journal, but it's the most expensive one I use. So I use it sparingly and I do like to try other ones. Now the lady put a generous amount down, then she put a generous amount on her picture. Now I might be getting a bit of a blue tinge in this, but that is okay. It's all going to work. So she put some on both surfaces. I'm just using a silicone brush, which is my new favourite brush to use. I deliberately didn't put any here because we're going to rip this paper off the top and I wanted something to grab onto. So now what we do is just give it a nice press down. I know it's got bubbles. I'm going to grab a brayer and just brayer it down because you want good contact between the page and the matte gel medium. Now minimum she said leave this for about an hour. I've got matte gel medium spewing out everywhere. That's gross. Let me just get that off my brayer. And put it back in the jar, and I'm going to tint my jar blue. It's always good with a new jar. I'm going to have to get a baby wipe and clean up my brayer. Didn't realise it would ooze out everywhere. So yeah, minimum is an hour, or I might leave this several hours and then come back and see what it looks like and show you how to do this image transfer. So nice and flat, so I'm going to put my book aside somewhere nice and flat and leave that for a couple of hours. Let's just get, yeah, I have put blue in the top of that, but it's only a little bit so it won't matter. Just getting all that gel medium off and trying not to have it on the rim of the jar so my lid doesn't stick. Okay, so I'll be back in a little bit to see if this works. I've got matte gel medium up here. Oh god, I'm a messy person. Okay, bye. Okay, so time to take this image transfer rough. I must admit this is a few years later, so I don't even know whether this is going to work. If it doesn't work, you're obviously not going to see it. But I thought I would film it anyway, and if it doesn't work, well, you won't see it, so that won't matter. I've only done a few of these image transfers, never left one this long. Don't know what's going to happen or not. So let's just go ahead and pull some of this waste off. Started to tear a little anyway because my journal's been just around everywhere. So I'm just going to pull some of this excess off. I don't know whether this is a good idea or not. We'll soon find out. Then we're going to add some water and see what happens. Now sometimes image transfers work, sometimes they don't. It's how you hold your tongue, how much you put on, how much. Sorry about the camera. I'm trying to get to my rubbish bin. Just depends. So now that we've pulled a lot of that paper off, I'm going to, I can see my shutters there. I'm going to wet it. This is going to be interesting because I have got the Lindy Stamp Gang blue underneath. And then we should be able to roll our fingers around, and hopefully this is not rolling the camera too much. Sort of rolling our fingers around to peel up or get this top layer of paper to come off. And I need some more water. It might be okay. This Lindy's might be, Lindy Stamp Gang powders might be set because I did the swipey with the gesso-y technique. I was practicing for one of my classes and demonstrating. Most of the time I demonstrate into my journals for when I'm doing classes, just because otherwise I end up with so many bits of paper around, it's not funny. So I can't even remember what colour shutters were under here. Trying to use up this journal and put it off my current shelf because it's nearly full and I've only got a few pages to go in it. This is not really coming up as much as I thought it would. Give it a bit more of a rub. So basically just rubbing with your finger, trying to lift the paper off, and you can feel bits of the paper sort of rolling up and peeling off. As I said, I don't know, I've left this a few years, just things get forgotten about. Life has just been, wow, hectic the last few years. And I just haven't got back to things. What I might do is just give it a bit of a, oh, that was a good bit of paper towel. I ripped half of that coming off the roll. Having one of those days today. Do you have days like that when you touch stuff, it just goes wrong? A bit more of this paper should be coming off. Let's work on up here, because I can see there's a lot more paper up here than down the bottom, but we'll give it a good squirt of water. And, oh, see how that paper's just rolling off? Trying to aim for my bin, so it may just have to sit a few minutes. I'm not sure. This is a bit of a slow process, so it does take a bit of time to get this top layer of paper off. Okay, some of that thicker paper is coming off. So basically what the gel medium does is it should transfer the ink off the page, and sort of you remove the paper from the back and you've just got the ink sort of left on your page. As you can see, it's a bit messy. You get all these little pilly bits of paper coming off. So this big thick bit's coming off quite well at the top. My hands do get a bit sore doing this. I thought I'd be able to get more of the shutters off. I don't know. I have to look back on the video what colour my shutters were, because I can't remember. So again, you just want to pick all this piley paper up and throw it in the bin. As I said, it is a bit messy, but it's fun. If it's getting a bit hard, just give it a bit more water. I'm going to give down the side here a bit of water too, see if I can get this bulky bit off down here. This side, oh, there's a bit more coming off. You got to be careful that you don't be too aggressive, because you'll actually take the print off as well, which is what you want to stay. And the gel medium is sort of a sealer as well, so it should seal in the printing that has come off your come off your, think of it in a minute, printing that has come off your magazine image, so it should be waterproof when you go to knock the paper off the back. Let's get the paper off the back up here. Maybe that's what my shutters are going to look like. Don't know what I'm going to do the rest of this page. I have to make it up as I go along. It's usually what I do. So just working on this top bit. You can sort of feel with your fingers where the paper is still quite thick, and they're the bits you want to work on. So I can sort of feel over here that the paper's a bit thick. And I probably should have cut the shutters out, but I can't, as I said, I can't remember what was underneath. You would know because you've just watched that first part of the video. Oh, that's a nice big bit that come off. A nice big bit that comes off. It's lovely when they come off in the big bits. So I stuck the whole page on, but you can just cut out an image and stick it on as well. Just a bit more up the top here. I'd like to get off. It's going to be interesting to dry this. Sometimes it will dry a bit cloudy, and then you have to go over it again. It's a fun technique to do. It's a fun experiment. Just depends on, if you like things to work out perfectly, probably not the right technique for you, but if you like surprises, it's a fun technique to have. I can just feel some thick paper up the top here. There's this little bit of paper up the top I'd like to get off. I'm going to give it a bit of a rub with paper towel. And a lot of that blue's not coming off, which is nice. So you can also rub it with a bit of paper towel, but I don't want to rub it too hard. I can still feel a bit of paper. Let me give that a bit of a dry and we'll see what we've got. Just also drying it from the back as well. Just a minute. I don't know whether much more of that's going to come off. There's a bit on this top bit I sort of want to get off, but it's white, so it really doesn't matter. I've just got some textures here under my book, because in my book, this is obviously the last page of my book, so my book is not very flat, and I don't like, there's a bit of paper there, and I don't like working if I take these out. See how it's on an angle? I like to prop something up, and that was the closest thing. Okay, I think we are going to call that done, and we have a good enough impression. We have the shutters, and I think that was the only thing on the page. That is my phone bipping and bipping. Let me go quieten that phone down, put it on silent, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've grabbed a few things I think I'm using. Never know what I'm going to use till I actually start. So I've grabbed some inks. I think what I want to do, and I grabbed a napkin. My daughter sells napkins on my website, on my work website, on our website, so I might use one of those. I've grabbed a few stencils that are also part of my design on my website, and I'm thinking of doing bricks over here, and then part of the napkin, and then I don't know. So let's do that and find out where we're going from there. So when I'm using stencils and ink pads, I like to use blending brushes, just making sure there's no colour in that one. Oh, it's so good to clean up my desk. It is an absolute nightmare. I never put anything away, so I've got stuff everywhere. So I'm just going to put that water over there. It's going to turn my journal so I can work on it a bit better. And I've got this yucky gutter down the centre I'm hoping to hide. Using archival inks, and this black one might be archival, it might not be. Diary, I don't know whether the Black Marble Delusions Diary ones are, but we'll be careful what we put over the top of where we put black. So I might start with some brown ink and see if we can't. Oh, this might be fun to do over the spine, but we'll try our best. And I'm sorry if the table is rocking a bit. Not showing up as dark as I want. Throw a bit of black in. I didn't want to go in with paint because I didn't want it too dark, but maybe I have to change my mind and go in a bit with paint. Oh, the black might be working. Oh, the black's sort of working. Just move our stencil. So I want it sort of be multicoloured. I didn't want it to be the one colour. I'm just going to put some blobs of black across it, and I'm coming with some other colours. I don't want to go too low to the bottom of the page because I know my napkin's going to go there. Might have been my brown ink pad might need re-inking. I have to go and buy re-inkers for all my archival inks. I don't have any of them, and some of my ink pads are getting quite dry because I use them quite a lot. The reason I like the archival inks is they're permanent when they're dry, which is handy when you're art journaling because I don't know what I'm going to put on top. And they're permanent when they're dry, and they're well, they were the colours that I went for, so let's get some of this black off mine. I think this brown one is a bit dry, but we'll see if we can't get a bit of brown into the bricks. So this stencil is quite easy to move around and line up again. There we go, we've got blacky brown, and we might do some brown crackles over the top to make it look gold here and there. Maybe not in the brown, maybe in a dark colour. I wonder if the red would show up. As I said, that ink pad might be dead or on its way out, needs a re-inker. Oh, this ink pad's a bit better. Reddish brown cracks here, there and everywhere. Trying to make it look old. Not wanting them everywhere, not wanting them to stand out really well, just wanting them to be subtle. I'm going to bring a bit of that over this side. Just onto the sides. I don't want to do anything over the shutters, but I just want to do a bit around it so it matches in with the other side of the page. So I'm creating like an old crackly building, I think, and take some of the bricks and just put a hint over this side. Got that all over my finger now. This stencil is a bit harder to use the blending tool with because it's got lots of open areas. But we're getting there. Well, that's in there. We might put that black again. just to add a bit of depth into where I'm putting that. Oops. There we go. I'm not sure how much you're going to see on the screen. I will put some close-up photos at the end of the video as well. I think I like that. I think we're going to go with the napkin. So when you purchase napkins, whether it's from us or other places, they sometimes have a 2 or a 3 ply thickness. Ply basically means layers. So you need to strip it back to be just to the top layer. I've already done it with this napkin because I was going to use it on another project. Got halfway through the project, forgot about the napkin and finished the project, which was lovely. I'm trying to find a paint brush. It's probably over in the sink drying, but this one should work. So when we stick napkins down, we're going to see the background underneath. So what I'm going to do is get rid of a lot of this white stuff up the top. And the way I want to do that is, pads out of the way. I'm just going to push my book up back. So I'm going to use the water technique to tear the napkin. And I just want a thinner paintbrush. This one will work. Most of my paintbrushes are over drying in my sink because I was working earlier today, or crafting. So I'm just going to spray a bit of water onto my glass mat here. And what I'm going to do is just gently trace around the flowers. And once you get the napkin wet, it is very fragile and you can just tear. I tend to put my thumb over what I want to tear and then what I want to keep, and then just tear with the other hand. You could cut it off with scissors, but I find torn look of the napkin blends in a bit better when you go to glue it down, if that makes sense. So the torn edge fades in a bit more. Really, napkin? A bit more water. Usually I have a glass of water on my desk, but I didn't think I was needing water tonight, so I didn't get one. But spray bottle works just as well. So again, just holding what I want to keep with the napkin and gently pulling with the water. And if you tear a bit, it doesn't really matter. You can always stick it back down together, or it can just be missing part of the flower. Flowers in nature are never perfect. Okay. So let me just get rid of that bit of water before I put my arm in it. Love my glass mat on my table. I can make a real mess and it's really easy to clean up. Let's bring my book back in here. So I deliberately haven't water torn the edges and the bottom because I know that's going to be on the bottom of my page. What I want to do is, I don't want to lose as much as my shutter, so I think I'm going to water tear here and put that bit there. So I need my water back again. See, I shouldn't clean up because I cleaned up too early. Okay, so there's sort of a break here in the flowers and going down to there. Probably not a good idea to do it on top of your art journal, but so there's sort of a break in the flowers there. Keep that little bit for now. And let's just have a play with positioning again. And then I'm just going to take that little bit of green foliage off. I may use that in a gap in a minute. And then I'm going to position. Oh, look, almost perfect. Beautiful. Okay. So the best thing to glue napkins, paper napkins down with, or any thin collage paper, tissue paper, rice paper things, is matte medium. So you can hear it's nice and slushy, liquidy. So you're after quite a liquid adhesive. Gel medium with a thicker consistency is not very good because it is obviously thicker. So you want to put a generous amount on where you're going to actually put your napkin. And I want to be sort of careful that I don't overwork the blue Lindy Stamp Gang powders that are in the background, because they may get reactivated. So then we gently put our napkin where we want it. And we take some more matte gel medium. And starting from the middle, we will come up to the outside. This is probably not the ideal paintbrush, it's a bit stiff, but it's working. So as you can see, I'm not really going over the same spot at all. I'm sort of working from the middle of the napkin, and that helps it not have any air bubbles, because you're pushing from the centre out. And as you can see, the napkin, the white bits of the napkin are almost disappearing, and we're seeing that brickwork through. So you've got to be a bit careful what backgrounds you stick napkins on, because if you stick it on a darker background, you'll lose a lot of the vibrancy of the colours. So you just got to have a bit of think about that when you're using napkins or anything that's translucent. Probably need some more. I'm just going to put a bit of matte gel medium on my book. Probably need a bit more under here. Got to be careful when doing that, because the napkins are very fragile when they get wet, whether you're using matte gel medium or whether you're tearing them with water. So you've just got to be super careful when the napkins get wet. The paper napkins are probably the hardest. Whoops. Just wrecked a bit of that flower, but that's right. What I was going to say is it's probably one of the hardest ones, because it's the thinnest type of collage paper. Rice paper is a bit thicker. Tissue paper is a bit thicker. Because napkins are probably the most fragile one, they're probably the hardest one to master, as in trying not to rip it to get a perfect focal image, but they're also lots of fun. So I'm only using half a napkin here. So the napkins usually have 4 panels of design. If it's like a single design, sometimes I have an overall design. This was like half the napkin. So you get a few bits to play with if you stuff it up. So I'm not going to rework that too much. I'm going to dry it off. You can't even see where I've added the second napkin. I've got this little bit of green foliage. I'm just wondering if I need to add this anywhere. Probably there's a tiny little bit of space. And it will sort of meld into the other napkins, and you won't notice it's there. Or you will see it, but you won't notice that I've joined it. Okay. So now we'll give that a good dry. It's going to pause and come back and make sure this is completely dry. Okay, let's finally finish this art journal page. It's been a while in the making. A while. I also want to finish off this art journal. I think I've got 2 pages left in my altered art journal. It's getting rather thick and chunky, and I think it just needs, and heavy, I think it just needs to be retired. So what are we doing? Okay, so off camera I stamped some girls. This is from a Dina Wakley stamp set. So I'm going to use some girls as my focal image. I thought I'd use one of my stencils as some vines sort of coming down here, I think. So I'll grab a blending brush. Just going to tip my book a little. So I've grabbed 3 archival inks. I've got leaf green, fern green, and crushed olive. So we're going to do a combination of those. Let's start with the crushed olive. So I don't want these leaves to be very bold, that's why I'm going with the inks. So they're going to be quite subtle. Me, subtle, never. Oops. Let's see what that looks like. Yep. Okay, so we'll do one here. So basically just trying to fill in a bit of the brick wall, just to give it a bit more interest. This stencil actually comes with the mask as well, so you get the 3 cut out pieces of flowers, which are good to use in combination. with each other or separately. So hopefully I'm not wiggling the camera too much. I apologise. I'm trying not to. Just trying to fill in with different darknesses coming down at different angles. This stencil you can flip over and use either side. So for example, this vine's going this way. If you flip it over, it's going that way. So it's really cool. So I'm going to come in here with this one. And we're going to take it a little bit over the next page as well. That one's quite light, but that's okay. You're doing this with paint, you'd have to totally clean your excuse me. Excuse me. Totally clean your stencil if you're going to flip it over, but ink is alright. Sort of got a bit growing over the shutters, but that's okay. I think I'm happy with that. Now let's work on our people. I was going to use the same stencil to add some, do I want the white? This is on just, I think, photocopy paper. This is on watercolour paper. That is sort of a greyish colour. It's not really white. So let's get a pen and maybe a paint pen out. So this is my little pouch of black pens that are currently open and in use. I have a habit of misplacing my paint pens, and if you don't use your paint pens for a while, they tend to dry out. So I've got a little white one too. So these little pouches come from Daiso in Melbourne. Daiso, if you've never heard of it before, D-A-I-S-O, and it's like a Japanese dollar shop, but nothing's a dollar. I think things are up to $3.30 with our conversion rate. So I'm just going to sort of extend the bodies a bit. I can always cut them off. How many bodies do I want? That is the question. I think I've got 2 different people, but I like 3s. But I can always change. So I'm going to add some more to the bodies. Let's change this one. I can change around a bit. Okay, so let's rough cut them out and see. Where we're going to put them, and then I'll have more of an idea of what I'm doing. So I don't know what brand of watercolour paper this is, but it was sort of rough on one side and smooth on the other side. I have stamped on the smooth side just because I didn't want the rough texture showing through. I'm going to trim these out properly in a minute, but I just want to sort of work out what I'm doing. So I'm just roughly. So the advantage of these paper dolls, these are Dina Wakley paper doll, Dina Wakley stamp set, is you can stamp them. Oops. You can stamp them up the page and give them longer bodies, which is really cool. I do that a lot with head stamps. Now, this one I'm going to try to change up. So I'm going to try to change her up now. I'm going to actually cut some of the leaves out of her hair, just try and make her look different, even though she come from the same stamp set. Because then I've got 3 different people, because 2 people are going to look weird. So I think I may have changed her enough. Okay, now this lady is looking that way, right, so I want her on the right looking into the page. These 2 are looking front on, so I don't really mind where they go. And I like them at different heights. So I'm thinking something like this. Because I don't really want to put much over here. I might put a saying or even leave it plain. I don't know yet. So we're going to cut this one off to where it's going to be so I don't unnecessarily do stuff that I'm just going to cut off anyway into my rubbish bin. Okay, so I was going to take this stamp, let me give it a quick clean with a baby wipe just to get the inky stuff off it. Okay, let me push my book up a bit, clean up my stencil. I was using archival ink so it was staying a bit, but I just want to get what will come off, if that makes sense. I don't mind that my stencils get a bit inky and painty. If I'm using texture paste or a gel medium or anything like that, I do like to clean them up. Give it a quick dry. Okay, so we're just going to push the book up a bit and work down here. So I might even just get the book out of the way for now. There's not enough room. And I've actually just got another one of my journals under here because this is like the last page in the journal. And when I have the last page, the first page, or the first few pages, see how this sits on an angle? Oh, you probably can't see. So when this sits on an angle and it's really hard and it's not stable, so I usually just shove something underneath it, which is usually another art journal. Where am I going to put those? Oh, I don't have anywhere to put my art journals that won't go crash. Let's put them up there, top of the baby wipes, and hopefully they don't slide off. Okay, so it's going to go this way. So what I wanted to do was take the same stencil and draw some leaves on her. Doesn't matter that I'm not real accurate because I want a sketchy look. I'm going to do it once with the stencil on, and then I'm going to take the stencil off and do a bit more of a sketchy look. So if you want, because this is all sketchy here, it's nice to replicate that same feel on the rest of the drawings that you put on. I might just do a tip of a flower, because if I just did a solid line, which I'll do on this one and then I'll show you, see how that looks funny against that and that, because it's a different style of drawing. So you just messily trace over it a couple of times, which makes it look really cool. So she's done. What we're going to do on this one, I'm going to put this one here. So I'll link the stencils and everything I've used from my website below. That one's a bit messier than I wanted, but yeah, it'll be right. Yeah, it'll work out in the end. And this one, we might go like this, a bit more over. I don't know, just making this up as I go along. Why not? So I'm just using a Uniball Micro Eye pen from Officeworks. They're like a permanent ink. I like it because it draws over paint and goes over mixed media, and it's a really good pen. And it is waterproof when you let it dry. If you don't give it time to dry, it can become not so waterproof. And the grey one is a slightly thicker one. So you've got one that's, I don't know whether they've got sizes on them. Oh, the one I used was UB150 and the other one is UB175. Okay, now we want to add some colour to these, but I think I want to sit them on my book and do that so I know what colours I'm going to do them. I'm just going to add a little bit of watercolour. I'm not going to, oh, ew, that particularly like that page. Got a sneak peek at my journal. For me, art journaling is all about the doing, not the end result. It's about the journey to get to the page. It's not about the destination, I call it. So I'm going to have these sort of like here. So I want to pick up some, and I've covered up most of my napkin flowers, or you'll see a bit more when I fussy cut the girls out a bit. But I want to pick up some of the colours in the flowers. So, what if I throw in my watercolours? Oh, I'll use these. use my PBO watercolours, looking for my squirt bottle, which is here. So I want sort of those colours. Paintbrush would be good. And this one would be good. And I don't have any water change between colours, so this might get fun. That's right. And so I want to sort of pick up the oranges a bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to leave the girls the colour they are. Just get more water over here. Because I don't have a wet brush. Don't have a pot of water. I don't tend to leave a pot of water on my desk until I need it, because I have a bad habit of spilling stuff. So if I permanently have, I'm going to have to get up and get a thing of water because I want to wash my colours out. Bear with me a moment, I'll just pause. As I said, last time I had a pot of water on my desk, I accidentally tipped it over and that was not good on my page, so I'm a bit clumsy. Looks some yellow in it here. I'm not being too fussy with my colouring. A bit more yellow. Which one was I in? That one. I always forget which paint colour I go into. We probably want to put a bit of green into her hair. No, into her leaves on her hair. No, like a bit darker green. As I said, I'm not being fussy. I'm not spending a huge amount of time colouring. It's not my forte. Or not what I like. I might just give her a bit of, it's a bit red. Fade that a bit. Just want to give her a bit of colour. Looks like I have to go and buy some new watercolours to restock my colour palettes. I used this in a class and we used a fair bit of the watercolours, which is fine. Everyone in the class used all the same colours. Okay, I think that one's done. What are we going to do on this one? What other colours? We might pick up a purple for her vine. I think that's purple. Do her a bit darker because she's on the edge. Great thing about watercolours is if it's too dark, I can just put my brush in clean water and go over it again and it picks it up. Picks up the colour. Something different, we might put orange next to her. Orange in the other vine. Why not? Okay, what are we going to do with her hair? As you can see, when this one's drying, it's drying a lot lighter, which is fine. We are going to possibly give her a bit of orange around the edge. I did that because I don't know what hair. We'll give her yellow hair. Give this one over here. Just a hint of colour. It's not. Just got a couple of flowers in her hair, so we'll go this colour. And I think she is done. Hopefully these look good when I cut them out and throw them on. Okay, so we've got purple, orange, we've got yellow down here, which will be this one. This is about my extent of colouring, about my patience that I can colour with. I'm not a very patient colourer. Colouring just does nothing for me. I'd rather draw or cut out or paste stuff than sit there and colour. So just adding a bit to her roses, and now the outside of her body. So we've got orange, we've got yellow, green, I don't know, pink, no, I've got pinky there, green, yellow around a bit of a illusion she's got colour on her shirt. Okay, we'll give those a bit of a dry. The first one's hopefully dry. So we'll cut them out and place them where they've got to be. Won't take long to cut them out, and we'll see if they need some more decoration. I'll leave a bit around these leaves and things, because otherwise it will look funny, because it's quite intricate. I'm not going to be that intricate. Not today anyway. See, I just knocked that paintbrush. Last time I spent hours painting a art journal page all in different colours with watercolours, and then knocked a bloody jar of water over it. And it just made a big blooming mess. So usually when I'm finished with the water, it goes away from my clumsy fingers. Again, not being too fussy up the top. Oh, she's got interesting earrings on. Using Tim Holtz, I think they're black handled now, but he's really good scissors, except I need a new pair because my screw keeps coming undone and they keep loosening up, and then I tighten it and then it's too tight, and then it loosens up again. It's just worn. They're years old. I cut chipboard with them. I cut hose with them, like garden hose for different projects. They've had quite a beating, which is probably not the best thing to do, but hey, they were the only scissors that were close to cutting what I need to cut, so we used them. Hence why I probably need a new pair. Okay, these are looking very cute. Oh, you do see a lot more of the napkin now, which is nice. Now, I'm thinking, problem is, there we go. Overlap her a bit more. We won't have overlap them a bit more, which looks even better. I think they need a bit more stuff. What do we do? Actually, I think we might do some texture on their leaves. I might regret doing this in a minute. I don't know, how do I do that underside? I was trying to do the underside of each of them. That's textured cross hatched. Let's do spots on this one. Don't know what I'm going to do the last one. Textured line spots. Line spots. And maybe we do some funny looking writing. Semic writing. Should have been a doctor, the terrible writing I've got. I got told the other day. There we go. It just adds a little bit more interest. I love taking stamps and making different embellishments with them. Now, what do we want over here? Do I want anything over here? Do I want to move a girl over here because she's all alone? Actually, I don't mind that, because you see more of this. See more of that beautiful napkin. Okay. I don't think I want to cover up the louvers at all. I think I want a bit of a saying, which I will. Do I want a nice saying or a naughty saying? That is the question. I think I want a nice saying. So let's grab my nice sayings, which are at the front. I don't think I want a black saying. That will be too black. That's really words. I wonder if this would go. These are just from this colour would probably go. I wonder if we put words on the girls. Let's see if we put words on the girls. Okay. Life is sweet. Let's see what girl that'll fit on. Life is sweet. Will fit down here. These are just from a cheap site. But there are so many companies that do words like this sort of stuff. Daydreaming is another one. Daydreaming. Just got to remember, I'm sticking that girl over there because I want them to overlap. So that one has to be on the top. Show your smile, sweet as candy. So much love. Documented. So we've got life is sweet, daydream. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy. I'm going to have to cut this one because it's too big from where I want to put it. Enjoy the moment. Might do a bit of a black line around the words just to make them pop a little. I didn't want black because I thought they might be too loud. Because there's not a lot of black in this layout. Okay, I usually like the rule of threes, but I think I like her over here and the two over here. Yes, there are 3 things on the page. Oh, do I like it that way? Oh, no. I think I like it this way. Because, hang on. Well, if I do it that way, I can see her full lot of hair. Okay, we'll do it that way. Don't want to cover up her beautiful hair. It's back in the little packet. I've got a bucket off to the side of my desk that has my frequently used stuff, which I can always reach for, which is wonderful. And I think we need, do I have it here? Nope. I'm going to stick the girls on and then we're going to decide what we're going to do. So we've got some Pritt gel. Unfortunately this company's no longer in stock. I found it in my stash and hey, it still works, so I thought I'd use it. This one, because we're sticking down water colour paper, that's a bit thicker, we just need a good old craft glue. Like a glue stick or something wouldn't work. Way too much glue, but hey, it'll stick. Let's hold it down for a minute. I like this glue because when you put it down, this is your lid, so all your glue rushes down there. A lot of glue bottles sit like this and your glue is down the bottom and you turn it upside down, you have to wait forever to get the glue out. Especially when your glue gets towards the end. Want to overlap slightly? Yes, overlap slightly. Then I think I need some sort of subtle border on this just to contain the page. And I also like this glue because if you put it in blobs, it doesn't blob on your project, or some glues, if you put them on blobs like that, you'll see them under your page, but that one tends to flatten out very nicely. Okay, now need some sort of border. Do I do a scribbly border? Yes, let's do a scribbly border in a slightly thicker pen. Because we've got the scribbliness in the front, I think a scribble border, really subtle one, will just give that little bit of black on the top, but not overpower it. Oh, perfect. And see if I can do this one without. I tend to do, oops, I tend to do more than one scribbly line. Where's the baby wipe I had before? I had a baby wipe out. stencils caught on my watercolours. I need a bigger desk, or less stuff on my desk. I think I'm going to call that done. The transfer didn't turn out as well as I expected. But again, I did leave it a couple of years, which probably didn't help. But I'm happy with how the page turned out. I think the girls just make it... The girls bring some more white to the front of the page, because there's not much white on there. And I love this napkin. I want to use this a bit more. So the only thing I have to do is to trim off the excess napkin that's hanging over the page. And then we'll call it done. Maybe I just... Oh no, it's glued, so it needs to be... I have to move my book around. Oops. So I can get to that without actually trimming away the book. Do I need any at... Oops. It's a very subtle page for me, very pastel-y, which is not usually my colour palette. I'm usually bright and bold, so maybe that's throwing me off a bit. I do like it. I like the people I've just made. They're really cute. Oh, now I've got little bits of paper everywhere. Scissors back. I'm trying to be in the habit of putting things back into a couple of buckets I have in front of my desk, so then I don't have so much out on my desk and it tidies it up a bit, which is good. So I think I will call that done. I don't think it needs anything else. I didn't really want to detract from the windows, and I like the vines here and I think we'll call it done. You can always overdo an art journal page. You can always just add too much, but I think I'm happy. That's the main thing. And now stuck on. Love my little people. I'm gonna have to make some more of those. They're rather cute. And thank you very much for watching. And the links to the products from my website will be linked below, and also linked in a Facebook page as well, which is the same as, which is also linked below with our business name, Scrapbooking and Craft. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.